Menteri Rang Ba Jylla Konrad Konggol Sangmau Loong Ba Jylla kan salah ban Penteri Kamno ya ka jing ti Dewiong da ka jing start science ni ka scientific mining namar menta ka sa satang Shisien jam ban yo ti no ya Dewiong namar kidon kan Ngut ki pelapa ani apply ban yo license sangut kin sa yo shen hadin bakila pinpoy ya ki mining plan haba kren shikala patha Khubor menta kala asngu blay Konrad uloong baki sangut ki ban sa yo shen ya ki license ki dei ki bala apply khamashwa katba ki khatlai ngut ki weipat kin sa bot din bala pendep ya ki jingdon kambaro ulai tho baka Ministry of Coal jong ka sarkar India kala pha da ka jingtho bakala menjur ya ki geological report jong ki sangut ki bala pan license ti Dewiong bat benra ba Shisien bala menjur ya ka ni ka kaipot ha ka baya dei bat ka kendo ka don ka jing kermen baka jing ti Dewiong da ka jing start science kan sasdang no shen hapo Meghalaya ulai tho bahadien ka jylla kala shakhang banti Dewiong na do usnem arhajar khatsaw kani ka sarkar kala ujor shaka kashari Supreme Court bat ka kashari kala penmi ya ka hukum ka basaken mau namar kala penksan baka jinglong try yu marpo khendo ka dei da ki try jaka uloong baha ka jo kapor ka kashari kala boru iki kendon bandan bej da ka scientific mining banda kaliang ka sarkar ha uluber jong usnem ahajar puar kala penmi iki kendon neki standard operating procedures SOP habakeli halor ka jingdawa ban penkala yaki kendon SOP namar kam ya ha but kibabuan kinong ti Dewiong kamtam bakimla ban penbyang hakabai dei bat ka jinghap don kam ya ka jaka ka bahe nakaliang Menteri Rang Ba uloong bayaki SOP la penkre da ka sarkar India bat ka sarkar India kam penduna shu ya ka jingdon kam ka jaka namar kata ka sarkar Jylla kala perkhat banya chakhmat namar lada sakut tanghangta onomla mazdang lanu Hendrai ula benra bru baka sarkar Jylla kala perkhat balada lala mazdang on sala ban penkala ya katu ka ni ki kendon hadin palayo license haba kli shushu u Konrad uloong baka jingha penterikam ya ki SOP na kabenta banti yu Dewiong kala ban kta ya ki nong ti Dewiong ki barit barya Hendrai menta larai ban shus dang bait namar ban ya kaba umyolat kan kambha ban yo dang no shwa
I just have one very important agenda that I would like to share with all of you and especially with the people of the state. This is in regards to the granting of mining licenses in the state of Meghalaya. And as you are aware that earlier the government of Meghalaya had filed a case in the Supreme Court against the ban that was imposed on coal mining in the year 2014 by the NGT. And since then, there were no concrete steps that were taken to lift the ban on the coal mining. It was only when this government had come in that we had taken up the matter in the Supreme Court, and the case was filed in the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court had given a landmark judgment during that time where we had been able to ensure that the ownership of the land, both surface and subsurface, will be vested with the local tribal residents of the state. And based on that, the ban on the coal mining was lifted. But in the same process, there were certain procedures were laid down through which mining could take place. And hence, the process of scientific mining was brought into the state, which, based on the Supreme Court order, we had to move forward with. Based on that, many applicants came in, and of course, before that happened, the government of Meghalaya, along with the government of India, had framed rules in the year 2022 in March, where standard operating procedures for prospecting licenses and mining licenses for coal in the state of Meghalaya were formed. Once these SOPs were set up, we had received in the last couple of years total of 17 applicants for prospecting licenses. And after that, these prospecting licenses, 17 applicants was sent to the Government of India. In a recent meeting that was held by the Government of India, the Government of India has, the Ministry of Coal, has finally given us in writing where the geological reports of the state that have been submitted by 4 of the miners has been approved by the Government of India. Once these geological reports are approved, this is one step away from the mining license to now be given. And hence, these 4 applicants now, whose geological reports now have been approved by Government of India, will submit their mining plans as per the norms laid down by Government of Meghalaya and Government of India. And we expect that the licenses should shortly be given to these 4 miners or these 4 applicants. And this communication has come, as I said, from the Government of India to the respected miners and the people who have applied. And hence this is a major step forward towards now opening up the mining in a scientific manner. And we are very, very hopeful that very soon that this the scientific process for mining will start in the state. As I said, that this was a very long and tedious process, as it required us to first of all lift the ban, create the SOPs. Once the SOPs were created, we needed to proceed with that forward. There were certain terms and conditions that were laid down by Government of India which we had to then fulfill, and the miners had to fulfill. Prospective licenses had to be done, geological reports and surveys had to be made, and all of these issues had really a lot of work had to be put into it. But as I said, now we are at a final stage where very soon the first 4 mining licenses will be granted to the landowners and to the licensees who are the local residents, so that the scientific mining can start. So this is a major step forward, and I am very hopeful that very soon we should be able to see the scientific process of mining starting with these geological reports being approved by the central government. These are, I don't have the details from which part, because these are our applicants that were given to Government of India. I mean, through us of course, but I don't have those details of which locations they are in. But these are all blocks, so I can name those blocks to you. First is the final geological report of number 1, Kalagao block, number 2, Nelang block, number 3, Saringkman A block, and number 4, Pindenchashlang block. I'm presuming these are names of miners. These 4 miners, their geological reports, as I said, has been cleared by the GR Approval Committee. The procedure will follow, because these were the ones who applied first. So theirs has moved. Now as the others will move, others will follow. But I think what is important is that the process has now started, and now things are falling into place. And this was a major part of the entire process. And as I said, this is a really great news for the entire coal sector in the state, and for all the miners who have really suffered for a very, very long time, and which has led to a lot of huge economic losses for the people. And more importantly, these people have suffered a lot in the beginning, because earlier, when the ban was put in, no steps were taken to really lift the ban at that point in time. And it was only the government that the steps were taken. And we have put in a lot of hard work into this. And we're happy to see that we are finally seeing the results of this. And as I said, we are just a step away now from the final mining lease or mining plan being approved. No, we have always been very clear that anybody who breaks the law, then the law will take its own course, and there are provisions under the MMDR Act based on which action will be taken against those. So the point being that now that this process has moved forward, and now that we are seeing that we are one step away from scientific mining to start, I hope that we will not see individuals now break the law and do things that are not to be done properly. There is, as I said, the 32 lakh metric ton was what was approved by the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court had given a procedure on which it should be transported and auctioned out, and all those processes are being followed, and they're very tedious in nature because it requires a lot of technical aspects, and the Supreme Court is very particular, Coal India is very particular, and so therefore the process was delayed a bit, but it is on track now, and auctioning is going on as we speak, and it will continue also in the future. Yeah, so we have asked them to do, in fact the court and Katoki himself had asked Mr. Katoki had asked for the drone surveys to be done. So all those have been done and reports have been submitted. So these are SOPs that are prepared in consultation with Government of India. And hence, for us, we cannot just make the SOPs at our own will. So therefore, when we discussed, this discussion led to the point where Government of India was not very keen to reduce that. And hence, we felt that at that point in time, if you continue to get stuck with that land issue of the size, we may not be able to move forward with the entire scientific mining process. So we felt that maybe it would be a better idea that let's move forward with this rather than getting stuck with this issue, and at least start the mining and get the mining plans approved. And as we move forward, necessary amendments and changes can be made once the process falls into place and once we see the licenses coming in. So therefore, it was a choice and a decision we had to take, either to get stuck with that decision and not open any mine at all, or at least move forward with this issue and then make amendments at appropriate time. So I am very much aware about the conditions and the demands of the operator, of the mines owners, and yes, definitely it's a very genuine one, but keeping the current situation in mind, we had to make the best decision, and we felt that it's better to move forward right now and then make amendments at a future date. Otherwise, Government of India was not willing to move forward at all.